Good morning. Today's lesson is lesson number 69, My Grievances Hide of the World in Me. So we're looking at these lessons in the light of truth with Jesus and having him provide guidance. And as always, we focus on the light first, light of infinite being when looking, because we have this power, and then letting Jesus reveal the blocks. So the first thing I'd like to ask is for contemplation together is my grievances hide the light of the world in me. And first, I'd like to look with Jesus at the desire for any grievance in the subconscious mind and to I'm willing to see that all grievances, any grievances are untrue. And is there still a desire in the subconscious mind to hold grievances? I'd like to turn that over to Jesus. I'm meant to see that in the light of truth. Jesus, is there any desire to hold grievances to hide the light of the world in me? Is there any desire for experience of grievances hiding the light of the world from me? And I just ask and listen. I'm willing to see that differently. See that in the light of infinite love. So much love. No one can look upon what your grievances conceal. So, Jesus, is there any desire in the subconscious mind to conceal grievances? And I just listen. If he tells me yes, I'll just say, okay, I'm willing to see that differently. So, yeah, it's like a desire to deceive the self, deceive myself. So I'm going to look at that. Is there any desire any longer to deceive myself from these grievances? That these grievances are real. I'd like to see that differently. Yeah, I'm seeing that they're actually a projection on myself to deny myself the kingdom of heaven. And I want to see all the grievances differently. Jesus says in the Course, because your grievances are hiding the light of the world in you, everyone stands in darkness and you beside him. So I see how this is bringing everything into the darkness and my brother. And is there any desire for an experience of standing in darkness and bringing the world into darkness? I'm willing to see that differently. But as the veil of your grievances is lifted, you are released with him. Jesus, is there any desire to delay lifting the veil, lifting those grievances out of my heart and holding my brother actually? That's the projection, to hold the brother. And I want to see that differently. I completely trust Jesus that he'll show me so much love. But the veil of your grievances is lifted. I'm willing to have them lifted, Jesus. Show me so much love. Share your salvation now with him who stood behind you when you were in hell. Share your salvation now with him who stood behind you when you were in hell. So when you bring your brother into hell, that's bringing yourself into hell because your brother is yourself. So, Jesus, is there any desire to stand in hell or bring my brother into hell, which is myself? I'm willing to see that differently. Infinite love responds to that. Let's be with that. He is your brother in the light of the world that saves you both. This is so much why the brother is the salvation. You can see this because infinite light sees only light and it sees oneness. We can see this now because we're infinite light. He is your brother in the light of the world because we have to stand in light together because we are light. Today, let us take another real attempt to reach the light in you. Oh, this is beautiful. Before we undertake this in our more extended practice period, let us devote several minutes to thinking about what we are trying to do. We're attempting to get in touch with the salvation of the world. Jesus, is there any desire to deny or avoid or have an experience of not getting in touch with the salvation of the world? He's saying we're the salvation of the world, so I really want to always look with him where there's a denial of being in touch with the salvation of the world because he's saying it's here. So I'm willing to see that differently. Sometimes energy releases and I yawn. This is the easy way to do this, really. I used to can't figure it out. You have to ask Jesus to show you each step. That is the speed up. In the light of truth, let Jesus show you. Stand in the light, see that you're light, and let Jesus show us. We are trying to see past the veil of darkness that keeps it concealed. Jesus, is there any desire for an experience of a veil of darkness to conceal divine nature in the subconscious mind? I'm willing to see that different. Yeah, it's desired experience, desire to experience darkness. I'm willing to see that another way. We are trying to let the veil be lifted, to see the tears of God's Son disappear in sunlight. Jesus, is there any desire to experience tears and have tears instead? I'm willing to see that differently. Maybe with him on that. This is so easy. It's just like a yawn as that desire releases when you're really with Jesus. It just, in the light of truth, it just, thank you. Let us begin our longer practice period today with the full realization that this is so. The full realization that the veil be lifted is lifted. There's never been a veil. Jesus, is there a desire to experience a veil? And is it possible to lift the veil or have no veil? He says, yes, it's just your decision not to it's your decision to have a veil, actually. So I want to give that decision over to the Holy Spirit. And with real determination, reach what is dearer to us than all else. It must be a desire. If it's not here, what's dearer to us than all else, infinite love, must be determination not to see it. So I'd like to see if there's any determination not to see it. And he's talking about real determination is our infinite being. It's our own power to reach, to see what we are. Salvation is our only need. Jesus, is there a desire for an experience other than a need for salvation, like that there's another need other than salvation? I'm willing to see this differently. There's no other purpose here, other function to fulfill. Jesus, is there a desire for a purpose other than salvation? I'd like to be released from that. Any desire for another purpose other than salvation. And other function to fulfill. He says salvation and completion is our only function, and I'd like to see any desires for any other function other than salvation. Learning salvation is our only goal. Let us end the ancient search today by finding the light in us and holding it up for everyone who searches with us to look upon and to rejoice. So, Jesus, I desire to see the light in myself. I'm willing to see it. That's the willingness. It's just the willingness to see what's already here, the light within. Very quietly now, with your eyes closed, try to let go of all the content that generally occupies your consciousness. Think of your mind as a vast circle surrounded by a layer of heavy, dark clouds. You can see only the clouds because you seem to be standing outside the circle and quite apart from it. From where you stand, you can see no reason to believe there's a brilliant light hidden by the clouds. The clouds seem to be the only reality. They seem to be all there is to see. Therefore, you do not attempt to go through them and pass them, which is the only way in which you would be really convinced of their lack of substance. So, Jesus, I'm willing to see past the clouds and to release my desire to experience clouds that block the light. I'm, and that's what he's really helping us do. We'll make this attempt today. After you have thought about the importance of what you're trying to do for yourself in the world, try to settle down in perfect stillness. Remember only how much you want to reach the light today. Now. So he's calling for now, 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 now. Determined to go past the clouds. Jesus, I am willing to go past the clouds and see the clouds do not exist. Reach out and touch the clouds in your mind. Brush them aside with your hand. Feel them resting on your cheeks and forehead and eyelids as you go through the clouds. Go on. Clouds cannot stop you. So he's really showing our infinite power here as light beings just to burn through all these clouds of thoughts and feelings and emotions. If you're doing the exercise with property, you'll begin to feel a sense of being lifted up and carried ahead. I'm willing to have that experience. Your little effort and small determination call on the power of the universe to help you, and God Himself will raise you from darkness into light. You are in accord with His will. You cannot fail because your will is His. Have confidence your Father today and be certain that He has heard you and answered you. You may not recognize this answer yet. Jesus, is there any desire not to recognize your answer, this infinite light, to see past the clouds? I'm willing to see that I'm powerful. I'm infinite light and I can see easily past these clouds. The direct experience of light within. And so these lessons become so relaxing. Try as you attempt to go through clouds to the light to hold this confidence in your mind. Confidence is really very important because it's a confidence in ourselves, in our divine nature, what's true. And looking to the light first, we always find what's true. Try to remember that you are at last joining your wills to God. Jesus, I'm willing to join my will with God and see that there's only one will, God's will. Try to keep the thought clearly in mind that what you undertake with God must succeed. Then let the power of God work in you and through you, that His will be done. I'm willing for God's will to be done. In the shorter practice periods, which you will want to do as often as possible in view of the importance of today's idea to you and your happiness, remind yourself that your grievances are hiding the light of the world from your awareness. I'm willing to see this, Jesus, and choose again. Remind yourself also that you are not searching for it alone and that you know where to look for it. Say then, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. I cannot see what I have hidden, yet I want to let it be revealed to me for my salvation and salvation of the world. And stand in the light of truth with this. And be sure to tell yourself, if I hold this grievance in the light of the world, will be hidden from me. If you are tempted to hold anything against anyone today, so Jesus, I'm willing to see today, if I hold this grievance, the light of the world will be hidden from me. So I'd like to see any desire to hold a grievance and give that over in the light of truth. Is it possible, even this divine being, this light that Jesus is showing us that we are? Does it know in our direct experience a just doesn't know what a grievance is? So as soon as we really focus on the light and see that there's only light and look at any grievances in the light of truth with Jesus directly, Jesus, is this true? Which is what forgiveness is. We see that it can't stand in the light of truth. And I'm willing to see that if I hold this grievance, I'm hiding the light of the world from myself. I'm willing to give all grievances over to you, Jesus, and for you to reveal the ones in my subconscious, in the subconscious mind that deny divinity, and appreciate the light that God has given me. Amen.